Next up, we're going to do another honeyburst. This is Port Orford cedar. It's a conifer wood. This is that top I used in the monster burst and in the purple burst. I finally emailed the guy who sent this to me years ago, and it's a very rare wood coming out of Northern California and Oregon. We're going to start with the trans tints here, the dark mission brown and yellow, same two tints I've used in my last two videos. This is a beautiful piece of wood. It's very highly figured. This is probably the better piece of wood out of the three tops that I got out of this. I'm going to go with a really dark brown and get that brown really soaked in here. This is a basswood back. I'm going to add a little bit more brown one, a little bit darker. And we're going to flip the guitar over here and do the sides and the back. And basswood does not stain all that well. It gets blotchy, splotchy, whatever. It just does not look all that good stained this way. You'll see in the later part of the video. Came out okay, but it's definitely a little bit harder to play with. If you do a single color, you can usually get away with having one single color, but I actually sand back and try to do the yellow on the back, and it doesn't look as great as the front does. So we'll get the brown all over the place. And on the back here, I've got some sanding lines from the drum sander that I need to get out. So I use my hand sander, and I think this is 240 grit. And go sand lightly across those grain lines, those sanding lines. Make sure I get them out. Really, it's just in the center that's really bad. Actually need to change my paper on the drum sanders, is what I found in the last two guitars I've been working on. So we're going to take my sander here next with 400 grit and get this cleaned up a little bit more. The same thing the top. We'll slow it down, show you how this is done. Really just go over all the different sections to get an even sanding coat off. So you're going to get the coat of brown off pretty much uniform across the guitar body. I've done it where I've left the center just sanded off, but I only really like using a hand sander to do that, not the power sander here. So you can see I got a nice even body now after I sand off all in the same spot. You can see I got that sap spot right below the neck, or right below to the right of the bridge pickup. Have to pay special attention to that. So here's the yellow. It's about 3 ounces of water and I think 5 drops of yellow. We're going to just go ahead and apply that on here. You can see the beautiful figure. This Port Orchard cedar is really an outstanding piece of wood. It's softer, so it's going to blotch a little bit. You'll see that here coming up. But just at first blush, this is just a beautiful coloring. Just incredible figure in this wood. Really have not seen wood this nice. So I emailed the guy last night asking for a couple more pieces of the stuff if he had anything figured. So then we're going to take the brown and the same rag from before, and we're going to rub this in on the outside to get a little bit of a feathering burst effect. And now that I've got the yellow down, the brown won't soak in as much, and you get a neat layering effect here. This is a lot of a back and forth process to get the coloring right. So then we'll go back with the yellow one more time, brown, back. And we'll do this to the back side as well. We'll take the yellow, and you'll be able to see immediately once I start putting this yellow on how basswood reacts with the tint. So it's definitely not as nice. There's no figuring in this wood. And you can see the different kind of blotchiness around the horn there. So I'm going to take the brown, and we're going to go around the outer as well. We're going to do kind of a faux burst here as well. Won't come out as well, but just an interesting look. Show you can do this on non-figured pieces of wood, and if you do it correctly, you can get a similar effect. What we'll do is we'll wipe this now with a towel to try and pull some of the water out, because I know it's going to sit weird. So then here's the blotchiness that happens. You can see all the different kind of pinholes of stain. So what I do is take 600 grit sandpaper now, and I go back and sand off that layer of yellow. I don't sand too hard. I'm applying about medium pressure, light pressure. You can see that sap stain on the lower right there. And so that even sanding has pulled off any kind of the blotchiness. So what I'm going to do is take denatured alcohol. These trans tints go into denatured alcohol, and I have about 1 ounce of denatured alcohol and about 5 to 6 drops of both the brown and the yellow. We'll mix these up. We'll apply one more coat. So here's the denatured alcohol. It cleans up the body. I've got new rags here as well, different rag. And this goes on very quickly. So you have to keep applying, and you got to keep turning the rag when you're putting on the yellow as well. It's actually cool to the touch when you put this on. It's got a really weird effect on your hand. What's nice about using this denatured alcohol is it kind of breaks up that sap pocket. So I'll go back with a little bit of brown, clean up the outer here. One thing I don't like about the denatured alcohol is the stains don't push around as much as with water. They kind of sit where you place them. And what I like about water is if you add more water over water, it kind of bleeds a little bit better. Here the yellow and the brown don't bleed as well. So then we're going to finish with this gun stock high gloss finish that I purchased. This is the back side with 2 coats on. Actually turned out pretty well. There's flash on and flash off. Then here's the money shot on the front. Incredibly beautiful coloring. The yellow and the brown really are highlighted well. Like I said before, brown and yellow are some of the best colors on wood. It really highlights the grain and the figuring. This is really a neat body. You can see the flex, a lot of 3D effect. This is only 2 coats, and I haven't even buffed this out yet. So look a lot better once I get a little bit closer to being done. Thanks, guys.